camaraderie you can get and the union you can build with them supporters can give you an edge. And we certainly feel that at Villa Park. We've got the famous Holt end behind the goal, and it almost sucks the ball towards it at times for us to go and score the goal. And we're all looking forward to it. It was a necessity to play without supporters, but it didn't feel like real football.
Hello and welcome to the UCFB LMA Insight Series, where we speak to some of the most important and influential names in the world of football. My guest today is Aston Villa legend and manager Dean Smith. He gained the team promotion back to the Premier League 2 years ago, led them to a Carabao Cup Final a year later, and has developed some of England's rising stars in the process. Thanks very much for joining me, Dean.
No problem at all, Holly.
So to start things off, you're a Villa fan managing your club in the Premier League. Does it get any better than that?
I don't think it does. Hopefully we can go and win something with Aston Villa. And when we eventually go and win something, then it will certainly mean a lot. Getting obviously promoted to the Premier League in itself was a great start in my first year at Aston Villa. But no, it's been really enjoyable. And the people around have been very supportive as well. So, certainly that has helped with the process.
Cool. So you and your family obviously have a great affinity with Villa. Tell us about the process of removing your supporters hat when making decisions throughout the week and on a match day. Is it easier or harder to make them because you care that bit more?
I said when I actually took over Aston Villa, I actually said during my press conference that I felt I'd earned the right to be in the seat. And I wasn't there because I was an Aston Villa fan. I was there because I've spent over 30 years in professional football. I've always been an Aston Villa fan. My family have always been Aston Villa fans. And my dad was a steward there for 25 years and used to take myself and my brother to the matches. So, when the opportunity came, it also had to stick my professional head on and make sure that it was the right. I was taking the job for the right reasons at the right time. So, I involved my family with my wife, my son, and my daughter in the actual talks about whether I went and took the job or not, rather than me just jumping at it. So, I think that answers the question that I have to be professional about the job. Yes, Aston Villa's close to my heart, means an awful lot, but because I've been involved in professional football for over 30 years, I've had to play games against Aston Villa and be very professional. And fortunately, we won most of them. So, but no, I think the thing that probably hits me the most is when we lose matches, because I know all my family, all my friends who are Villa fans as well, I know how hard it is for them, and to see the criticism that naturally comes your way then.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, what was a bigger thrill, winning promotion at Wembley or putting 7 past Liverpool last season?
Oh. I mean, it has to be winning promotion because the fans were there. We had 40,000 fans at Wembley Stadium cheering us on and to celebrate. After what they'd gone through the previous season, they lost at Wembley in the playoff final, and we're looking like they could have gone out of business as a football club. And our new owners came in, and we have gone from strength to strength. So to give back to the supporters and have them there to celebrate with us was probably the best. I also say staying up that first season, we played West Ham on the last game, and we needed a point to stay up. And I'd say that was a better success, but obviously not as enjoyable because, again, the supporters weren't there.
Yeah, so different types of enjoyment.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, staying up on the last game or getting promoted, the biggest success was staying up because it was a really tough thing to do. We'd changed at least 14 or 15 new players for the Premier League campaign. So, and people forget that you've got the least amount of time if you get through the playoffs to actually prepare for the new season. So it was a really good achievement to actually stay up, and we're built from there. And obviously, that victory against Liverpool last season was only our third game of the season against the champions, and beating them 7-2 is something you don't get very often at all.
Yeah, not at all. I remember it well.
Are you a Liverpool fan?
No, I'm a Man City fan, so I was back in Villa all the way that day.
Brilliant.
So how do you prepare for losing any key people when it comes to your squad or backroom team or anything like that?
Well, as you're aware, we've recently just done that. My trusted assistant, John Terry, has left to go and pursue, other coaching roles for him. He wants to be a head coach. So I think ongoing dialogue is the best way. The communication. Myself and JT I've always been open with him and allowed him to, if there was a job around, he could come in and speak to me and say, listen, would you mind if I went for this job? And I could say, yes, I think it's a really good job for you, or I'm not sure this is the best role for you at that time. And so we would have open dialogue. And, we had that for the run up to JT, finally deciding that, it was time to go and pursue a head coach role elsewhere. So I'd probably planned for that 12 months ago when I brought Craig Shakespeare into the football club. We had 4 coaches at the time: myself, Craig, Richard O'Kelly, and JT. And I was preparing for Craig to actually, for JT to actually leave. So we done 12 months where Craig came in and became part of that team, and eventually JT left at the end of it. And we've also had the same with Jack Grealish, obviously going to your team, Manchester City, and something that none of us wanted to happen, but we had a plan should that happen. As a recruitment team, we had a plan A and a plan B. Plan A, if Jack stays, these are the players that we're looking for. Plan B, if Jack goes, these are the players that we need. So I think that, again, ongoing dialogue between me, the sporting director, and the people who were involved, helps that process go quite smoothly.
Yeah, so it's all about having different options and backup plans.
It certainly is, yeah, and you've got to be adaptable at times as well.
Thank you. So Tyrone Mings was part of England's squad this summer and has won plaudits for how he's combated racism in the game and society. Are younger players now more socially aware than ever before? And how important is it for them to be able to voice their opinions on matters away from the pitch?
Yeah, I believe they are. I mean, I was very proud of Tyrone Mings, how he handled one of his first games for England in Bulgaria. There was the racist chants there, and he held himself, with such dignity that I've come to expect from him on the training ground. And, we won the first clubs along with Sheffield United. We discussed it at length. When we went into Project Restart, we wanted to raise awareness to the racism that's going on, to discrimination, and we decided to take the knee. And I think that awareness has continued now for the last 18 months. And I've just recently been to a Premier League managers meeting, and I want to know what the next steps are in terms of the education now for people to voice against racism and discrimination of all kind. And I think young people now are more socially aware, definitely with the use of social media. Their opinions can get out a lot quicker than they ever did before. My daughter's 18, about to go to university, and obviously she's an avid social media user as well. And I think the platforms, we need to keep pushing them, because they can become a platform for that racist or homophobic voice as well, and it's something that we want to stamp out. But I believe the younger players now are all socially aware, and the young footballers now are tremendous in putting their voice out there against online abuse of all kind.
So how much of a boost for Villa is it to have people like Mings come back to the squad after the summer he's had?
Yeah, it's a massive boost. It's been a real strange pre-season, because we've had lads who went and played internationals, and then we had lads who went and played in the tournaments like the Euros or the Copa America, and we've also got a player who's got to the final of the Olympic, playing for Brazil, Douglas Luiz, who will be playing against Spain for the gold medal. So they've all been coming in quite at staggered times. I've made sure that each player got at least 3 weeks off after recovery. But when people like Tyrone Mings and Jack Grealish come back, having got to the Euro finals with England, and we saw the euphoria in the country, during the Euros with how well England were doing, then it naturally gives the whole place a lift. We've also got Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper, who played in the Copa America final for Argentina, who won it for the first time in a while. Lionel Messi's first major trophy for his country as well. So again, having somebody like that coming back with a winner's medal, it only breeds success, I believe, within the culture at the football club.
Cool. So how much are you looking forward to having full stadiums again next season? And what difference do the fans make on a match day?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think, home advantage was negated by not having your supporters there. And I think the results showed that throughout last season. I think there was probably more away wins than there ever has been in the Premier League before. That camaraderie you can get and the union you can build with them supporters can give you an edge. And we certainly feel that at Villa Park. We've got the famous Holt end behind the goal, and it almost sucks the ball towards it at times for us to go and score the goal. And we're all looking forward to it. It was a necessity to play without supporters, but it didn't feel like real football. And getting them fans back, I think, is going to be a boost for not just the players and myself and the staff, but I think for society in general. I think people have missed being able to go to these games and talk about their team. It's one way is doing it online, I suppose, but actually getting a feel of the place, I think it's going to be great again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be good.
So how difficult was it for you, I know you touched on this, and the players to adjust to the last year within the impacts of the pandemic?
Yeah, it was different, because you're going from hardly hearing yourself speak with supporters and the noise to hearing everything that is on the pitch. And, we've had to adjust, the way we do things at times. The players have had to adapt to referees hearing all their comments. And, we've also had to adapt to a VAR system as well. And any instructions that you're given as a coach, the other bench can hear it, the opposition can hear it. So you probably, don't get the impact that you're trying to get with the messages. So we've come up with different ways of passing messages on to players. And but it's been a good learning experience as well. It's another way of doing things, and it's another way of us trying to improve our communication skills and our decision making. So, it's been tough, but it's been a test, and we've made improvements. From using different ideas from it.
Yeah, definitely. So, did you have to change your tactics quite considerably on match day because suddenly everyone could hear everything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite a relaxed character anyway on the sidelines. I tend not to get too high and too low, but I would generally pull somebody over and actually, pass the information on to them rather than shouting at my back four on, what kind of line I wanted and, whether they were too high or too low. So it was more of a chain pass of a message. And, there's always that when you have momentum in a game, I've always encouraged the lads. It's like when you've got it with you, it's like, cycling downhill on a bike, and, keep with that momentum when you've got it, keep going. But, learn how to stop it when it's against you as well. It's like pedaling up the hill this time. And, sometimes you can slow that momentum when there's a break in play. You can take your time, taking a corner, taking a throw in, or, you might have an injury, some going down. That's an opportunity for the others then to get together, talk, discuss what's happening, and actually just slow everything down a little bit.
Cool. So your former club Brentford have finally made it to the Premier League. Are you looking forward to going up against them this season?
I am looking forward to it, and I'm very proud of them as well, because there's a lot of hard work from a lot of really good people at that football club. I think I discussed with you earlier, it was tough for me to leave Brentford. I really enjoyed it there. I actually, brought Thomas Frank in and employed him as my assistant coach, and he's gone on to be the head coach and got them promoted. But from the owner, Matthew Benham, to the sporting directors, all the way throughout the club, it's a really good old-fashioned club with really good people working there. So, I was cheering them all the way. I was, distraught for them last season when they got beat in the playoffs against Fulham. But really pleased that they'll be up there, and really looking forward to seeing the new stadium for one, because I haven't been there yet. I actually dug the first shovel, put the first shovel into the ground when they first started building the stadium. So it'll be great to go back and see a lot of good people, and I'm sure they'll do well in the Premier League.
I hope so. They seem like a great club.
Yeah, they are. They're very good.
So Brentford are famed for their unique stats-based model regarding player recruitment. How did that model work for you? And is it something you see becoming more commonplace in the game?
Yeah, well, Brentford and Brighton are two similar clubs. Their owners both have sports betting companies. So, their model, what they use for their companies, they can obviously use for their football team as well. And, the models that they use for their recruitment will be, very data driven, very analytical, but there's always a touch, a feel as well. And, I really enjoyed being a part of that and actually learning something new in terms of recruitment. And, we certainly use data here at Aston Villa as well. Our sporting director, Johan Langer, who was sporting director at Copenhagen as well, has been very involved with the data side of flagging players for recruitment. And I think it's a process that a lot of clubs go through. But in America, especially, data analysis is used a lot more. And I think that's going to start coming into most clubs now within the English pyramid. I think Brentford and Brighton have got a head start on clubs because of their owners' businesses, but there'll be teams certainly trying to catch up, and ourselves being one of them.
So you've touched on this, but you recently lost John Terry as your assistant at Villa Park. What did you see in him to offer him his first coaching job, and what do you think his future holds?
Well, JT, I actually knew JT before I brought him into Aston Villa. So when I was assistant manager at Leyton Orient with Martin Ling, I coached JT's brother, Paul Terry, for nearly 3 years. So JT had come along to the coaching ground a number of times, and we'd chatting away. And I watched with interest his final season in football when he came to Aston Villa, from Chelsea. And he got a strong affinity with the sport straight away. He'd been doing his coaching badges up till then as well. So I interviewed him and I said, would you fancy being assistant coach? I'm bringing Richard O'Kelly as well with me from Brentford. Would you fancy? He said, yeah, I'd love to. Really enjoyed my time at Aston Villa. He's one of the most decorated captains in the Premier League history. So the way that JT is, he's very inquisitive. He'll ask questions. He retains lots of information. So, just his career at Chelsea and the coaches he would have worked under, he naturally picked up quite a lot. He was a willing learner, and I think he will be a very good head coach for, whoever chooses to have him eventually.
Cool. So is it obvious to a coach who amongst their playing staff will go on to be a good coach when their playing career is over? And is there anyone at Villa now going through their badges who you think will be in the dugout soon?
I think you have an idea of the players that, are really interested in the tactical side of the game, and the ones who don't, they just play the game and they don't ask too many questions. But I believe now that the younger players who are coming through, I think school teaches young people in different ways to what it did 20 years ago. It was pretty much right. This is what we're telling you. You believe this, and I think the approach now is more of a asking questions, question answer, And I think the young players now ask a lot more questions. So they want to, when they come, I see myself as a teacher, so a teacher of football. So when they come into our football clubs now, I think it's our duty to continue that learning experience for them, and them to continue learning. And you see the ones that you think have got a good chance, but I must say some of them surprise you as well. There are ones that you think no chance going to be a coach, and become quite successful ones. But I still have players who I work with at Walsall now, who are ringing me up for information on coaching and management roles.
So what qualities do you think make an effective leader in elite football?
I think you have to have empathy. You have to understand the people that you're working with. I believe that you have to show humility as well. But you also have to be decisive. You're the main decision maker. So as a leader, you have to be decisive and make them decisions. One line that I've always lived by, I always said, if I become a manager, I want to be a manager who I would have wanted to be managed by. And, that's something that's really strong in my philosophy of life. So, I won't just leave a player out of the team and not tell him why, because that was one of the things that I didn't like as a player. So, as I say, I'm honest with the players, but also tactful. And I think you have to have all them abilities to be a good leader. You have to be good at managing down, but also good at managing up as well, because there's always going to be somebody above the actual manager. And there's a lot that you learn through experience, but there's an awful lot that you've probably got within your makeup of being a leader as well.
Yeah, a lot of different components to it.
Yeah, there certainly is, and there's not just one that makes a good leader. I think it's certainly a load of components.
And lastly, what's the one key bit of advice you'd give to people aspiring to work in football and sport?
Well, never give up. That is the biggest thing. I had a moderate playing career in the lower leagues, but I'm still available to play for England. But I always wanted to try and play at the top level, and I never gave up on that. The highest level I got to was the Championship, and it's the same when I went into coaching. I became the under-18 coach at Leyton Orient when I first finished playing. My aim then was to become the under-21 England manager. I felt that was the best route to go down. And then when I got involved in first team management, it was, to go on and be a manager in the Premier League. I'm managing to do that at my boyhood club. But it's, keep setting them goals and never let anybody tell you that you can't make it, because you can. There's plenty of people out there that tell you can't do things. And, the thing that drives me has always been to prove people wrong. I think we all know that there's going to be people there that say you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, my job has always been to go and prove them wrong and try and do that. So, show that determination, and you can certainly get a chance.
Definitely. I think that's a great place to end. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you, Holly.